Welcome, Wargamers, to the Chamber of Mazarbul, my tactics videos, where I go over tactics in general. This episode is very special. It's a character spotlight, and it's for my favorite character in the game, the books, and the movies, Dain Ironfoot, Lord of the Iron Hills. He is absolutely amazing. Just excellent profile, leadership capability, special rules. He is an amazing character in the game and in the books and movies. In the books, he actually killed Azog as a very young dwarf. They did differently in the movies, but he was still pretty awesome, just killing guys with his head and whatnot. So, where do we start on him? Well, the first place where you start with Dain Ironfoot is obviously his stat line. He's movement 5 inches, as you would expect for a dwarf. Fight 6, which is very good. A lot of people consider that to be where you want to be at, but you always want to be higher, obviously, and this is a very solid level. It's above many other mid to even high tier heroes, and it's really good to be at. He's shoot value 4+, but that doesn't matter. He's strength 5, defense 8, 3 attacks, 3 wounds, courage 7. However, since he's fearless in his special rules, courage doesn't matter unless Foy Stonehand is around. Or it's for purposes of like a barrel light wounding or something. He has 3 might, 3 will, and 3 fate. His war gear consists of heavy dwarf armor and a 2-handed hammer. And for special rules, he has burly and fearless, as we've already gone over. But he's also got some extra special rules, which I'll go over after I go over his options, which is a war boar. 20 points. Quite a lot, but listen to this. It's movement 8, fight 4, doesn't really matter, strength 4 doesn't matter, defense 6, no attack, so he runs away if Dain's dismounted, 2 wounds, and courage 3. So defense 6 and 2 wounds is almost as survivable as a fell beast. I mean, maybe you could say the White Warg is more survivable because it has fate as well, but otherwise, this is the most survivable mount, non-monstrous mount, in the game. It is amazing. So he's got several special rules. Lord of the Iron Hills. Whilst Dain Ironfoot, Lord of the Iron Hills, is alive and on the battlefield, all Iron Hills dwarves, Iron Hills captains, Iron Hills goat riders, and Iron Hills chariots within 12 inches of Dain automatically pass all courage tests they're required to make. So essentially, he makes them fearless, but only better, because fearless you can't shield, but these guys can if you need to. And it's also his captains as well, so it's really good if you're fighting terror-causing armies. You can always get that charge in on that fell beast. You don't have to worry about breaking so much, which can happen because you have low models often. And then also, if there's a Golden King around, his fearless, making the other guys fearless, really good. Spectres, yes, they can wound your dwarves, but otherwise they can't do very much because their special rule, you just negate automatically. Then he has Fiery Temper. As soon as Dain Ironfoot, Lord of the Iron Hills, kills an enemy model, for the rest of the game, if Dain is in range to charge, he must do so if he is able. So this is why that in scenarios like where you're taking an objective, what comes to mind right now is the new scenario where you need to get the gem or whatever it is, heirlooms also, as well as particularly the Nova scenario, Weapon of the Enemy, is particularly susceptible to this. As soon as you kill someone, so if you try to bounce off someone in a heroic combat to get somewhere, you kind of get stuck fighting, so you don't want to give it to him for those reasons. And you do have to keep fighting, so you can't really keep him out of combat. But there are 2 things to keep in mind about this rule. 1, you really always want him to be in combat. You don't really want him not killing things. However, since it's only when he's in range to charge, he can charge anyone he wants to within range. But if people aren't within range, so say you kill maybe a warband of guys in Maelstrom of Battle who got stuck right near your dwarves, you don't have to have Dain, like the twins making heroic moves just to get to the enemy, leaving his army behind and getting killed that way. It doesn't work the way twins or bard do. Of course, you're obviously going to get this activated, but it's really not bad to have activated, unless you're carrying an objective like I already said, but you really shouldn't have Dain carrying the objective. Fearsome Charge. In a turn that Dain Ironfoot, Lord of the Iron Hills, charges into battle, he causes terror until the end of the turn. This is really useful so you don't get countercharged. Sometimes you want to be so you have even more models to kill, but sometimes you don't because you want to call key heroic combat. So it's just nice having that, just keeping people from being able to charge you. Headbutt. This is a really fun rule and actually has great utility, and a fun thing about man-sized models I'll talk about. If Dain Ironfoot, Lord of the Iron Hills, wins a duel, but fails to slay his opponent, slay, not wound, so multi-wound guys, you can wound him, and then you can still headbutt him. Select one man-sized or smaller model in the fight, roll a d6. On a 5+, Dain will headbutt the model, and it will be knocked to the ground. So this is really good, particularly if you are against a hero that actually has a horse. You can, sure, your cavalry bonuses are negated for that turn, but you kill the horse, then you might be able to knock him down. Sure, you won't get the bonuses that turn, but you could really mess them up that way. When they think they're safe from getting knocked down, they aren't. There's a note on man-sized models here. A man-sized model is any model on foot that is roughly the same size as a man or smaller. This includes, but is not limited to, men, elves, dwarves, hobbits, orcs, goblins, and urukai. There's a problem with it saying this includes. It contradicts the, well, it doesn't really contradict, but it does mean Dain can headbutt the Goblin King, because he's technically a goblin, so he's technically a man-sized model, because they have defined goblins as man-sized models. So you can headbutt Dain, Dain can headbutt the Goblin King to the ground, so that's actually really fun there. But, yeah, so Dain, Strength 5 coupled with Burly. In case you haven't realized how awesome that is, it's because Defense 6 is as good as Strength 4 with Burly, but it's still needing 4s against that. Defense 4 or 5, you need 3s. Defense 3, you need 2s. And even against Defense 7, you need 4s. All of a sudden, these Defense 7 heroes, which think they're totally, hard to kill, hard to hurt, unless you've got, they're an orc and you've got Orc Wrist, or you really bang them up with a piercing strike. No, this guy wounds them on 4s. It is amazing, and he can just smash and cut the enemy down really quickly. And he's really survivable too. Defense 8, 3 wounds, 3 fate. He's an excellent general, and his boar is obviously very survivable as well. So yeah, he's killing stuff with the 3 attacks. He's got 3 might. It does feel like a little bit low on the might, which 3 might is generally a lot. It is the most you can get unless you're Boromir or Azog on the White Warg. The problem is because you need it for striking, for heroic combat, and for boosting die rolls. You've got 3 times you can do any one of those. And sometimes, you don't roll a 6 on that heroic combat, and you might need to spend that extra point of might. And then once you're out of might, if the enemy has priority, chucks 1 guy into you, you can't decide to heroic combat and then kill that guy and then kill a bunch more guys. That happened to me a bit. But when he is on 3 might, he can kill 2 ogres in turn with the heroic combat, no problem. I mean, even with the help of a few friends, maybe even by himself, he could kill 2 Mordor trolls. I'm not joking, in a turn, because he wounds them on 4s, he still gets charge bonus. So, you're probably getting about 2 wounds there. Another might kills that troll. It's not too hard to believe that, if he had friends in there, that they'd help him get those 3 wounds down. And the other troll could easily go down too, so especially if you couple him with Thorin, his free heroic combat. It's just amazing because you can heroic combat, kill a Mordor troll in a turn, then go on and kill another Mordor troll in a turn. I mean, if you trapped him too, that's just almost a guaranteed kill, as guaranteed as you can get almost. It's just amazing. Fun fact, you might actually bash with Dain. Some of you are like, you're crazy, King Bonsai. No, I'm not. Now, bash is actually really weird in that you pretty much roll dice, you add your strength value. You also add +1 to the person who is bashing. Their score. And if you're wielding your hammer two-handed, you get another +1. And you win ties. Now this essentially means Dain is acting as strength 7, winning ties. So this means that Fell Beast, he can roll 1 lower than whatever the dice the Fell Beast player rolls, and he knocks the Fell Beast to the ground. I am not joking. This is actually more likely to kill the Fell Beast that way. Unless you're doing Lords of Battle and you need actual wounds, you can just knock the Wraith onto the ground. I mean, he's automatically failed his Throne Rider pretty much. No strength 3 hit, but that's not going to really hurt a Wraith. Probably not. But it's amazing because you strike them to the ground, you knock the Wraith off, the Fell Beast goes away, and Wraiths on foot, particularly lying down, even the Undying won't last that long, especially against a bunch of Iron Hills and Dain. I mean, maybe the Knight of Umbar could try to make a stand, but I just send my warriors into him at that point. So he's just amazing. He's a great leader as well, because he makes all your dwarves fearless. You know, they are generally courage 4, down to courage 3 if there's a -1. But no, he just makes it guaranteed to pass those courage tests. If you keep him close to objectives, you know, he passes the courage test around objectives. I use this quite a lot when charging Eagles and Beorn at a Shadow in the East. I mean, it brought down, in my battle with Cole, it really spelled the doom for Beorn, because all my guys were getting in. I mean, I had a few elves, but they were courage 5, and then Gloin courage 6, and the elf captain courage 6, but the dwarves just would go in no problem. You don't have to be afraid of things that are terrifying. Hee. But it's awesome. The fearsome charge can help you get a heroic combat off when you need it. The headbutt is a really fun utility spell. I find it doesn't work I don't use it that much, because generally, Dain prefers to be charging, and then they're already knocked down. And if Dain hasn't charged, I prefer to kill everything if I can. So it's not that often that multiple models are against him when he hasn't charged. On occasion, this does happen, and it's helpful. It's particularly helpful against heroes, though, that they've charged you, or if they're on a horse and you just dismounted them, or, you know, they're on foot and they charged you, or you're off your mount, you know, whatever. It means he can knock guys down. The ability to bash with this guy is actually pretty insane. So that's Dain Ironfoot. He's an excellent leader, can just tear through enemy troops and heroes. Excellent general because of his survivability. He's just all-round amazing, and is definitely a hero you should be using in your Iron Hills army, or Erebor Reclaimed. So, be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Support your Hobbit hobby, and Akmin Ruki Astu. Thank you.